Welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel. John Johnston from Social Security is joining us again today. Thank you so much for
Thanks for having me. I appreciate whenever you invite me over.
Well, whenever you come on the show, you always have some information, great information for our viewers. Today, viewers, we do want to talk to, we're going to really focus on one subject, which is not going to be easy for us, is it, John? But we're going to try and do this. John has been talking to me about creating a My Social Security account online. And he's going to tell us all the reasons why we should do this and how easy it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you have an account yet?
No, I don't.
Okay, then we'll go through this and hopefully...
Well, I have a question. You just asked me if I have an account. I'm not ready to apply for Social Security, so why would I create an account?
Yeah, it's for everybody. I've often said, you know, Social Security is, and when I mean everybody, are existing beneficiaries, meaning people who are currently receiving Social Security checks, and our future beneficiaries, people that we've, you know, promised, we have future obligations to. And essentially what a future beneficiary sees, like when I log into my Social Security account, I see my statement, that statement that we used to mail out to working individuals that, you know, detailed what their earnings history is, and also gives them, you know, their benefit points, what they'd receive in their retirement, what they receive disability, survivors benefits, etc. That statement can now be accessed online.
Okay.
So I see the statement. Our existing beneficiaries see basically a Social Security dashboard that allows them to administer their benefits. What we're doing here, Judy, and this is all on our website, www.socialsecurity.gov. And if people access our website, and we have millions of people access our website every month, in fact, it's become really the preferred method of how people file claims with us. And so this is just adding on to that existing backbone that we're giving individuals the opportunity to have a personalized login to our site. Okay.
All right.
It's not much different than all of the big websites are doing. If you use Google, or if you use eBay or Amazon, or, you know, any large website, you don't have an anonymous experience on that site. You go to your site, and you can log in using a username and a password.
Right.
Okay. So when I, for instance, log into Amazon, you know, I had a son recently, so I have an Amazon wish list. Okay. So I can use my username and password, and I can create this wish list. Now, my mother lives out in Denver, and my wife's mother lives in Philadelphia, so they're far away. So those grandmothers are always wanting to buy things for this new grandbaby. So to avoid duplicates. Yes, there you go. To avoid duplicates, we've, you know, created a wish list, and they can then look and say, oh, he already has this, he already has this, and it gives them an opportunity to, you know, see the personalized, you know, what we'd like for Lou, my son, and it allows a personalized experience on Amazon.com as opposed to it being anonymous. That's basically what we're doing at Social Security. We're allowing people to not create wish lists for their children, but to have a personalized login to their to the Social Security website. And, you know, for the future beneficiaries like myself, you see the statement for our existing beneficiaries. It's another way for them to administer the benefits. Okay. Specifically for for existing beneficiaries, they'll see a link to change their address.
All right.
Prior to this, they'd have to actually give us a call or stop by our very busy field offices simply just to change their address, change their phone number, change their direct deposit. They'll see there's a link to show, you know, what the amount of their next check is going to be, where that check is going, the date that it's supposed to, you know, arrive. And probably the service that people like most that can be found on My Social Security now is they can print up a benefit verification letter. For folks who are on Social Security, they know exactly what that is, okay? And that basically verifies what they're receiving each month. Essentially, if you're a Social Security beneficiary and you apply for almost anything, they're gonna, you know, like credit card, housing, an apartment, the person that you're applying to is gonna ask you to verify your Social Security income. We have at the Erie Social Security office probably about 150, 160 people, that may be a little conservative, walk through our doors every day.
Okay.
And about 25% of that traffic is essentially people wanting those benefit verification letters. They end up waiting sometimes 45 minutes to an hour simply for a little 2-minute transaction where we print them one of those letters. So giving it, for the people who want it, the ability to do it themselves will save some people a trip to the office, a trip calling us where maybe they'd be on hold. What this is just another way to conduct business with Social Security for our existing beneficiaries.
And you're true, the income verification statement, I work with those an awful lot when I do the property tax rent rebates.
Absolutely.
And there's many times, say they come in and have it done in March, April, or May, the statement that they received in January might have got misplaced.
Yep, absolutely.
So usually they'll call and then they have to wait till it gets mailed to them. So this is a real quick way to find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, that seems to be the service that people are pinpointing the most, because that tends to be something that folks need a lot. I mean, not that people are moving every year, but you may need a benefit verification statement every year. So the change of address will be there for when people need it, but the real daily activity one is the benefit verification letter, or the things that people may need on a more ongoing basis.
Okay, now to create an online account, what am I going to need? What am I going to need? What information will I need to plug in to be able to get this account set up?
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning the difference between us and Amazon, that wish list. I would be happy if you wanted to see the wish list for my son sometime, but I really, you know I love you, Judy, but I don't want you looking at my Social Security information.
Right.
And you don't want me looking at your Social Security information. So, the difference between us and the big sites is we're talking about very, very confidential information. Everybody is aware of identity theft. Or we should say everybody should be aware of identity theft in today's day and age, and everybody should take reasonable efforts to protect their information.
Yes.
At Social Security, we're very well aware of that. So the difference between, for instance, us and Amazon, or us and Google, when we're assigning you or you're creating your username and password, we're first verifying who you are. Okay, and the way we do that is there's basically a two-part verification process. The first part, we ask the individual who is registering questions that compares to records that we already have about the individual. Everybody out there has a Social Security card.
Right.
Okay. One of the first things that happened when Lou was born in the hospital is we filled out the paperwork to get him his birth certificate and his Social Security card, and then 3 to 4 weeks after he was born, a Social Security card arrived in the mail for us. Okay. So we have information already about individuals because of the Social Security card application. So we ask essentially what their individual's name is, what their Social Security number is, what their address is, what their mother's maiden name is. Some basic verification information. If they're able to clear all of that with our system, okay, meaning get through it successfully, they go on to the second part of the verification. The second part of the verification, we've entered into a sharing agreement with Experian. Experian is an agency, one of the major credit agencies out there. So they monitor and develop people's credit history. Now, this is a one-way sharing arrangement where they share information with us. We don't share information with them.
Okay.
So everybody out there, unless a person has lived completely off the grid, meaning they've never rented an apartment, they've never had a job, never had a credit card, is going to have some sort of credit history. Okay, so we ask some questions about the individual's personal credit history. We could ask about mortgages, we could ask about car loans, we could ask about department store cards that maybe they opened up, even rental units that they have. One individual that I ran into was asked, when they were telling me how they had registered for an account and they were telling me their questions, they actually were asked, the question was, you bring your dog to Glenwood Pet Hospital. What is the name of your pet that you bring there? Again, the person used their credit card to pay at the the vet.
Oh my God.
And so the credit card company or the credit bureau had information about that for the person. So the questions are multiple choice.
All right.
So a person is given 5 selections, and if they're able to get through all those questions correctly, and they are very personal. Again, we want to verify that you are who you say you are. So there are questions that really only you should be able to answer. Okay. Once you get through that, you're able to assign a username and a password, and then you're able to use that username and a password immediately to access those services that we went over. Again, for our current beneficiaries, it's being the ability to change your address, change a direct deposit, print up a benefit verification letter, and also see where your check is going, see which bank account your check is going to. And for future beneficiaries, it's that statement again. And that is available immediately whenever a person uses their username and password from now on. So it gives them that personalized login to the account.
And John, we have talked about that statement that people used to receive in the mail, and you would always tell us, look at that very carefully.
Right.
Make sure everything's correct. So we aren't getting those in the mail anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, and this was disappointing to me, but I understand the reality in today's world. It was a victim of budget cuts. That it was very expensive what we were doing. We were essentially, printing and mailing a statement to everybody over 25 who was working. One of the things that we talked about, it was a great planning piece, and financial planners loved it to help their clients plan for their retirement, or individuals loved it to take that statement and then use our planning tools that are right on our website to help plan for their retirement. Because we can't afford to mail those out personally anymore, now how they get it is through the website. And one of the things that we did encourage everybody to do each year was to compare your earnings on your W-2 to what is on your statement. You and I both know, and you and I have talked a lot about this on this program and off air, and I'm hoping most of the viewers know also that their Social Security benefit is based on the amount that they pay in. Okay. The process, how that works, is your employer reports your earnings to Social Security every year. Generally, it's accurate. Although throughout my career, I've seen a lot of people who are missing earnings.
Right.
If, for instance, Millcreek Township, when they're reporting your earnings to us, to Social Security, if they just type in your Social Security number one number off, those earnings are not going to get to us. Those earnings are going to go into a suspense file because we're not going to be able to match them up with you. Okay. So when those earnings come to us, rather than showing what your earnings are, you'll see a 0 for that year. Okay. The reason that we advise people to check it each year, not just do it when they're about to retire, it's a lot easier to correct a problem that is a year old than is 30 years old. Okay, if a person didn't check their statement until they were about to retire, well, if they had wages from when they were 30 years old that didn't get posted correctly, they may have to actually produce a W-2 to get credit for those wages.
Oh, that's why I see how important it is to keep on top of that.
It's a lot easier to produce a W-2 that's a year old than to produce a W-2 that's 30 years old or 15 years old. So again, one of the things we encourage everybody to do is check your earnings against your statement each year.
And again, that is, you do not have to be on Social Security to create an account. Now,
no, it's for everybody. I mean,
for everybody?
Yes, for everybody.
Is there an age?
No, anyone over 18, I should say. All adults, over 18. Who want to create an account. Now, when I say it's for everybody, I want to make it clear too that this is voluntary. This is a new way that we're offering services.
Right, it's not a must-do, like direct deposit was a must-do.
Right, was a mandatory,
type of thing.
I've encountered, for instance, while we've been talking about this new program, and it is new, and we rarely have something brand new at Social Security. So whenever we have something new, I feel very excited about it. But for instance, an older viewer who is sitting out there going, I don't use a computer, what am I going to do? Well, the same thing that they've always done. Deal with us in person in our office, or give us a call on our 800 number. Those services will still be there. This is just adding additional services. You and I both know that more and more people are conducting business online.
Yes, they are.
We see it every day at our office. There's probably in any given week, and we measure this each by week, there's probably about 60 to 65% of the people now file their claims directly on our website. So when we received a claim, we used to receive it, when we talked to the person, either in person or in telephone. Now the individuals provide us the information and send it to us, and we received a claim that way.
Okay.
And that's how we adjudicate it. And the majority of the people choose to do it like this. So there's a real push out there that people want to conduct business online, and this is just the next logical step for us to be able to give people a personalized login to the website with these services.
I want to ask a question. I want to jump back when you were saying that information, you work with Experian credit reporting. What if I happen to, what if I'm in the middle of doing this and I'm in the middle of, say, a credit freeze or a fraud alert or something? Will this stop me being able to create an account?
Yeah, if you have a...
because sometimes that happens if someone feels something's been compromised.
Absolutely. Yes, that will. You have to remove that first.
All right.
The other thing that people will see setting up a Social Security account does not affect your credit at all.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
However, if you get a credit report right after you set up an account, you are going to see what is called a soft inquiry to your credit. So individuals can see that if they are curious, how does this affect their credit? It has absolutely no impact on their credit at all, although there is a soft inquiry onto their credit based on setting up this service. I think the other thing that is worth mentioning, Judy, is this is a large program. I mean, when we talk about Social Security, although we're talking about it right now here in Erie for the folks who live in Erie, but this is being done all throughout our country. This is really, a macro view. So to date, we have already 4.5 million people registered. Okay, and this isn't a overnight project. This is a 5-year project where we hope to get everybody who wants to register access to this account. Of those 4.5 million people, we know that not everybody's going to be able to answer all of their questions correctly. So of those 4.5 million people, they've registered at about an 85% success rate. That means about 15% of them are failing somewhere along the verification.
Okay, so when they're putting in answers, it's just not getting the right answer.
They're giving the incorrect answer based on the information we have.
Okay.
Again, it's really important that we verify for the right person. We've always been bulldogish about privacy. Anyone who's ever dealt with us in person or on the 800 number knows that.
Yes,
and
they are.
We carry that over to our website. So individuals who are not able to answer the questions correctly, they'll get a message on their screen that says if they want to continue setting up the account, they'll need to visit their local Social Security office in person.
All right.
Okay. Our reps are all trained in this. They know exactly what to do when an individual comes in. We'll look at their photo ID, either their passport or their Pennsylvania ID or their Pennsylvania driver's license, or if it's another state driver's license, and we'll verify them that way. We'll then provide them with an activation code. Okay? The activation code allows them to bypass the credit questions and create an account that way. Okay, so we'll give them the code. They can go back to the website, use that code that allows them to bypass the activation questions. If the person has information that doesn't match with our records, like let's say there's a woman who recently got married and she took her husband's name and has been using her husband's name but hasn't actually changed it with us, so that when she goes to create the account, she's using her married name and she's not even getting to the credit questions because she's not able to pass our end of the verification.
Oh, I see how something like that could happen.
Now that's more rare because most of the time we have the correct information on people, but most people are failing out because of the credit questions. But if in that case the individual would need to update their records with us. Okay, so if a person is using a name that we don't have, in order for us to verify it, they would have to come into our office and change their name on their Social Security card, which there's an entire process for that, which you and I have talked about on this show before.
Yes.
So that involves updating our record. So those are the two, snags that people can encounter along the way.
Okay.
And we know about it, and we understand that that's there, and that's why the verification is in place, to make sure that we're verifying the person that we're supposed to be verifying.
And I think that's important. I really do, because that is just another security check. And I do want to point out too, when John talks about how secure their website is, it truly is. It truly is. You really don't have to worry going and putting information on the applying for Social Security, or even just to set up a My Social Security account.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody should be.
Which I'm going to do,
I'm glad. I think everybody should be aware of identity theft. You'd have to be,
live in a cave if you didn't know about it.
We use the same encryption that the military uses on our website. We actually take our website down offline, the secure parts of it. There's the informational parts of it, and there's the secure parts of our site. And we take that down every night from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. to make sure that everything is okay. So you can't file your Social Security claim at 2 in the morning.
Okay.
You have to, because actually that part of the site would be not accessed for business at that time. I want to talk, while we're on the security, I want to mention one other added measure of security that we put in this program. I have a Social Security account. I was one of the first people to sign up for one, and I added it to my account. I would encourage you and all of our viewers who are going to set up an account to add this level of security. You'll be prompted once you clear the verification.
All right.
To give us your cell phone number if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay. If you provide us with your cell phone number, what happens I'll talk about it personally. When I go to log into my account, Social Security, as soon as I hit submit or log in, is that button, I've typed in my username and password, and now I hit submit. As soon as I hit that button, Social Security sends me a text message. Okay, and on my phone, that text message is like an 8-digit code.
All right.
I then take that code and type it into the system. It doesn't allow me to get to my statement until I take that code that has just been sent to me and then type it into the system. Okay. What that is preventing, Judy, that even if somebody stole my username and password and was trying to access my information, they would still have to have my cell phone in order to get into my account.
Okay.
And because I've added that extra level of security on, it makes it almost hack-proof, because you'd have to.
Is that an option?
That is an option.
All right.
That's an option for everybody.
And you highly recommend.
It's an option that anyone who has a cell phone with text messaging on it, I'm not sure why you wouldn't sign up for it, because you don't really necessarily know if someone steals your username and password, and that's not something that you would maybe know about ever, but you would know if someone stole your cell phone.
Yes, that we would know, wouldn't we?
Exactly.
It'd be a quiet day in Judy's world without that.
So the moment someone steals your cell phone, well, you let us know about that, and you can switch your login information and give us your new cell phone number, and that can really just another measure of protection on your account.
Okay, John, our time is winding down. Thank you so much for telling us about creating a My Social Security account. Again, if you would let our viewers know the website, how they can get on and start signing up for this.
Sure. It's www.socialsecurity.gov, and there's a banner right on the page that says create a My Social Security account. It's the banner that goes right across the top. They can click on that banner, and it will literally, it's very user friendly.
Okay.
It basically leads them through the process, and it's we haven't had any complaints about folks who haven't been able to access it or have problems with the actual, the way it's laid out or anything like that. So people should be able to find it fairly easily.
Okay. John, thank you so much. I I suggest everybody set up, anyone 18 or over, set up a My Social Security account. It's just going to help you keep track of things down the road, then help you when you are ready to apply for your benefits. Again, thank you, John.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Viewers, thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time, have a wonderful day.